look at this beast right here. This is a 2020 Chevrolet 3500 HD, the high country trim package in the dual rear wheel model. This is the big boy truck. Now it appears, based on the evidence in front of me, that this truck on occasion is equipped with one of those giant camper topper things, not just the ones for the bed, because it's got these bottom side brackets. This is the one that has the overhang, and it probably hangs out back yonder and has some overhead clearance as well. I speculate it may even encroach over the top of the cab. Regardless, it's a heavy duty model, and the unit is here for some upgrades. The vehicle owner, since they do a lot of on-the-road driving with a lot of load and that camper, they wanted some Banks products installed. So you guys have seen some of this stuff before. I won't beat you to death. We did the rear differential cover on this unit. Did that yesterday when you guys weren't looking. I did not film the beginning process of this repair on this truck. I was out of town and I'm behind schedule, so I came and knocked out some of the work yesterday when we got back. So I apologize for not giving you the full Monty, but we had made a video about some of these Banks upgrades in the past, and I just want to outline them real quick. So we've also installed the transmission pan assembly, and I'm glad we did, because let me show you guys something real quick. Here's the factory pan that came off of this unit. Look at that. Hear that? This thing is super flimsy, cheapo, thin metal. It is not. I spilled some on the floor. Yeah, this I don't like it. I was not impressed with the quality of the stamping on this. And look at that. You can even see there's tooling marks. See all those little scrapes right there? There's a bunch of tooling marks in this from when they stamped it. So this is a very rough stamping at best. And I'm glad it was removed for the replacement of this very, very thick Banks unit right here. So they're going to see a noticeable temperature and performance increase, or temperature displacement, or temperature control, temperature performance. I can't even say what I'm trying to say. This thing's going to keep their fluid temperatures much, much lower while this vehicle is being used for its intended purposes. Now, the Mac Daddy on this job is going to be the lower oil pan on this 6.6 Duramax. I've got the pan over here. It's another Banks unit, very similar to the transmission pan. That's a bad unit right there. Now, this thing is a heart attack every single time I have to replace one of those, because these lower engine pans, these things are RTV glued to the upper pan, which is also like the block scroll and the windage tray. See all this right here, that's RTV sealant. So we have to remove a very thinly stamped steel pan off of this crowded engine compartment, and the catch is there's really no way to pry it off. Now, the best way to gain access to that pan is going to be right over here in this corner. But look, if that pan's glued on here, look at the aluminum right here in that casting. See how thin that is right there? So one would be inclined to drive a screwdriver in here or a pry bar or something and then start wrenching on this in order to get that pan to break free from the bottom of the engine. Now, if you were not aware of that and you shoved a pry bar in there and broke this off, you now have to remove the engine to replace this upper oil pan. It's about a 40-something an hour and some change job, and it's highly expensive. So if you're gonna do this kind of job, and if you guys at home want to tackle this Banks pan all by yourself at the house, be very, very, very cautious. It is not a job for the faint of heart to take on. It is extremely difficult if you do not know the proper tactics to get that thing to break free. Ultimately, what I had to do was get it to crack loose up here in the front, and then I put a ratchet strap around it after mangling the pan and bending it a bunch. I hooked a ratchet strap to it, hooked the ratchet strap over here to the corner of the lift just to pull down on it, and then I systematically went through with the provided tool. Where is that tool? Yeah, it's around here somewhere, but there is a special tool designed to wedge into and break that gasket free. So I had to run through with that little tool and like a pocket screwdriver and a millimeter at a time go through and break away that seal until ultimately the thing came loose. That required me to have to lower and drop down this front axle right here. I didn't remove it completely, but it is dangling down a little bit. So I left this thing sitting overnight to kind of drip dry because we can't have oil running out of this, encroaching on the sealing surface, and then attempt to put new sealant back up there. So it's effectively been drip drying for about 12 hours now. We're gonna go in there later on and clean up all of that old RTV on the sealing surface, and then we'll prep the new pan for installation. So stay tuned. This is gonna be a really cool Duramax truck video. Now, when I said I had to mangle this old pan, I was not kidding. This is the lower engine oil pan, and this used to be flat. Again, this is super thin, cheapo stamped steel, very similar in construction and thickness to that transmission pan right there. I don't believe the rear differential cover experiences the same flimsiness because that's actually not made by GM. Yeah, they tend to not make their axles, but they outsource the rest of this. Oh, actually, technically this is Isuzu's fault because Isuzu makes the L5P Duramax, but they're under orders from parent company to cheap out whenever they can. So the Banks pan is going to be a huge improvement over engine oil temperatures as well. Show you one more time this little guy over here. It's ready for its close-up. It's loaded full of fins, the full length. It is aluminum, not stamped steel, and it's also finned on the inside for extra surface area to get more heat dissipation out of it. Now, one of the really cool things about this Banks pan, there's the drain plug, right? Our drain plug on the back of this unit is at the very most bottom of the pan, which means when you do your oil changes, you're gonna get the most oil possible out of it. If you come over here to the factory pan, you see there's the drain plug, and you can see it is not on the bottom, it's kind of on the side, and then it's got this little bung right here that sticks up into the oil area. So when we pull this pan out, or this plug out, this oil pan here is still gonna hold maybe a quart, half a quart of oil or so inside. So upgrading to that Banks unit is gonna be an improvement and performance benefit in almost all measurable metrics. The only downside is it costs money to have the thing installed. So anyway, now that we know what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how we're doing it, and we're halfway done doing it, let's go ahead and finish. Time for the hard part. Now, before you guys start in, or at least click away going, oh my God, Ray's over here selling people stuff. No, this is just what came into the shop, and this is part of my appointments. And you guys that have been around for a while know that this channel is about vlogging kind of the real life experience, and this is part of it. So I don't plan these videos, I don't plan what comes in, and I didn't plan on a Banks promo video or anything like that. This is just the natural way of the world right now, and I'm just doing my part of it. Now, that being said, if you'd like any Banks products, I am a Banks product affiliate, and I do have an affiliate link down in this video's description. So if you want to buy some Banks products for yourself, if you use my link, they will pay me a commission for generating the sale. Now, I don't know if I can be any more transparent than that. So if you want to hate on me for trying to make a buck, that's on you. Yeah. There we go. This is a carbide super scraper right here. Nice flat tip on it. Very sharpish, kind of. It's not sharp, it's just a good edge, which does wonders on this gasket material. That way we don't have to go in here with power tools and tear up the mating surface, because tearing up the mating surface on this engine skirt would be horribly bad. There we go. Different position here, still doing some scrape action. There we go. We have to get all of this business out of here. The other thing I mentioned earlier, we have to let this sit overnight I can't stress how important that is, because if there's oil on this sealing surface anywhere, when we go to put that pan back on, it will not seal very well in that particular spot. And then we'll have an oil leak. And doing this a second time is probably harder than doing it the first time. I bet you the aftermarket uses better glue, silicone sealant rather, than GM. You saw what kind of steel they use, right? Here we go. Get into that. See how I'm driving this? A little bit of pressure here with a couple fingers, a couple more fingers here just to run the back and forth. We can use the pressure to dictate our scrapages. There we go. And this whole operation is done overhead, kind of doing the limbo. You're leaning back, looking up. Keep your mouth closed so nothing drips inside of it. That's a real thing that happens. Getting diesel oil dripped inside of your mouth is really gross. It's not as scary as coolant in your mouth though. Coolant in your mouth is actually super scary because coolant will kill you, like a lot. We used to put coolant out, antifreeze, in saucers to kill the raccoons that were fighting the cats and or eating the cat food. So if you've got a raccoon problem, feed them some green antifreeze. Or at least that's used to be the way. I don't know if it's still toxic like it used to be, but it would cause your kidneys to fail. It tastes very sweet, that's why animals like it. It tastes sweet like Kool-Aid, so don't drink it. This antifreeze will make you violate rule number 1, which is don't die today. That's rule number 1, don't die. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out with me while I sit down here and mindlessly scrape away sealant for like an hour and some change. Give myself carpal tunnel phalange syndrome. Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here for that. Like a lot, like a whole lot, I really do. Keeps me company. See, humans are social creatures. We need other human interaction to validate our own existence. If we don't have human interaction, we start going nuts. Scrapey, scrapey. So now, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna hose this thing out and get rid of all this. Look, we're starting to run out some right there. Yeah, we need to hose all this out, make it nice and super shiny. I need the fan. Air. Yeah, now we have ventilations and some mosquito control. This side of the shop has mosquitoes on it. I think there's like a hole in the bottom of that wall, and they come in from the grassy area outside. Anyway, back to hosing it down like a hoser. That was weird. I have a defective brake clean can, whatever. Dude, this diesel oil is so thick, look at it. It doesn't even like to rinse off with brake clean, look at that. Diesel oil is no joke. Yeah, we're gonna go through, I'm gonna hose off this whole sealing surface here. Get as clean as I think I can. Wipe it down. And then we'll prep the actual pan for installation. Before I put this pan in position, we're gonna sneak it in and mock it up, because I kind of just yanked out the old one, and I wanna make sure that there's clearance for the new one, because the new one will have, again, sealant all over it. And if we smear that sealant on one of the surfaces or smear it off of the new oil pan, it will not seal. And again, that'll mean we're back here, we'll be down here doing this twice, and I don't want to do this twice. I don't like doing things twice. Well, some things I don't like to do twice. There we go, make it nice and shiny. Okay, I think we're good. All right, let's have a look at the new unit real quick. We can see it's a machined flat surface on the top here. There is no gasket. We just use sealant. Flipping it around, we highlight our fins for cooling. They get real deep here as the air contacts the front of this pan. They're a little shallow here for clearance. They get pretty deep right here, and then the real deep section there for ultimate heat sinkages. Now, one of the things that Gale Banks likes about how he designed this is what they did is they lined up the internal fins. Follow my finger, see the line? With the external fins, see that? So as the metal transitions to these external fins, there is a straight line for heat to conduct itself. That's designed specifically to pull engine oil heat, or heat out of the engine oil and dissipate it into the air, because lower temperature oils perform better and higher temperature oils cook off and they lose their integrity faster. So for longevity and for protection, this is a win all the way. And I do believe this holds an extra quart when compared to the flimsy factory unit right there on the floor. Yeah, take a look. Yeah, here's our before. Here's our before version. We've got a lot more depth here too. Look at that. Let me move it over some. Bear with me here, guys. I'm not gonna cut scene. We're just gonna do this kind of sloppy, like, you know, reality. I say there is no comparison. Look at the flange thicknesses here. That's cast aluminum, stamped steel. Cast aluminum, stamped steel. Cooling capacity, no cooling capacity, and a bottom sump drain, not a bottom sump drain. So there is I think other than cost of manufacturing, there is zero benefit to these stamped steel parts when compared to these aftermarket aluminum ones. The good aftermarket aluminum ones. There's a lot of fakes out there and a lot of subpar equipment in the market. So remember, when you're buying performance parts, quality does not cost, it pays, and it pays dividends. And I think that's especially true when you got yourself your $100,000 truck. Okay, so we have problem here. I'm going to need to pull this differential out even more. It's got to come down farther. I don't have the clearance. I was afraid of that. Okay. Ha ha! You see that? Move through the matrix. Oh yeah, it's awesome. So this axle came down about another ½ of an inch. So I'm gonna have to look up, like right through here. There's our sump oil pan right there. I'm gonna have to look up right through here to guide the tip of that pan in past this area here. When we slip past the narrow bottleneck part of that pan to get it past this sump, that's the danger point. That's the time when we can run into these transmission lines, or we can smear the sealant on the bottom of this upper pan. So we're gonna go ahead and mock it up. I've taken a ratchet strap here. These are our best friend. Taken a ratchet strap and just used it to pull these lines over some. I have them disconnected from the transmission right here, and they're out of their bracket right here. So they're down and that way towards the passenger side. So we're using the ratchet strap to hold it. It's not super tight, so we're not bending and breaking things. It's just to pull it out of the way. So the way we're gonna do this is I'm gonna have to stick you guys like right in here like that. And you and I have the same visual on this area over here. That's our trouble area. So I'm gonna fetch the pan, we're gonna feed it up into here and see if clearances are going to work out in our favor or not. Let's move this light. There we go. Yeah, maybe over there. There we go. Now we can see what we're trying to see. So with my pan in hand, now the idea here is to make sure we can get this into position without touching anything on this top surface. And I think we got it right here. Yeah. Take a look. Look up. Yep. And looking down, we can put it in, we can pull it out, right? Perfect. This is gonna work. Let's get some sealant on the pan surface and get it installed. Okay, it is sealant time. We have some 3-bond, it looks like. This actually came with the Banks kit, so we've got it kind of drizzling already. So what we're going to do here is go around with this caulking applicator gun, and we're going to apply our sealant in the most uniform bead possible around this surface here. So let me give it one more quick wipe. I've been touching this, and I don't think I've touched the sealing surface, but we're gonna wipe it off to make sure. No oil and grease on sealing surfaces. They gotta be shiny. Okay. It's gonna take a little while, so bear with me. Right, I think we've got it. A little bit of extra right here. I'll put that on the back side. Now you'll notice that the RTV is on the interior section of the bolt holes. It's not necessary really to do the exterior, but I am going to put just a little layer on the outside. That way when it all squishes, some of them will squish out around the bolt holes, and it'll just give you some peace of mind. So I'm just going to put a wee little bit right through here. Just enough. Plus, this sealant also takes up a little bit of space. We're talking a couple thousandths of an inch at best, right? But if we leave half of the bolt hole uncovered, then it stands to reason that there will be a 1 to 2 thousandths of an inch flex in the pipe once it's torqued down with the fasteners. And that is introduced warpages, so putting some RTV around the outside of the bolt holes can mitigate that concept. I've never measured it or proven it to be true, but it is worth considering. Especially on like a high risk job right here. This is a very high risk job. And there's our video title. High risk. High risk repair. There we go. High risk optional repair. High risk performance repair. I like that too. I'll probably not name this video that, but it's worth a thought. Okay, sealant is now installed. Let's unload the weapon. Very good. Breech is clear. So now we have fairly decent bead. Yeah, it could probably look better, but it's hard to squeeze out. This is not it's not blue silicone, you know. I think we're good here. That all looks good, decent. I'm gonna put a little bit more right through here. That looks good. This is good. Good bead. A little bit right there. That's all good. This is good. Fix that up right there. Okay. Let's get this thing installed. All right, we are back in the corner. The pan is in hand. We are going live here with the install. This is moment of truth. If I mess this up and smear this silicone, I've got to pull the whole thing back out, clean it up, and do this again. And I don't want to. I really don't. So if I miss some parts, or you don't see something here, it's because I'm distracted and I can't think about you guys with your cameras, or your camera angles rather. I just need to think about making this lined up, and that is all. So I have nothing to say. Don't fall down. Nothing is really touched just yet. Okay, that's located. Let me go left here. Let's put another one in. It's 2 screws. Okay, that one's in. We're good, we're good, we're good. We're looking good. Okay, up front, we see, no, I don't think we see any smears in there. What do you guys think? Does that look good? I think so. All right, let's get more bolts. A couple more bolts and then we'll run them down. I need to get this thing contacting the engine as soon as possible. That one in right there. Okay. Come on, thread. Got it. You guys might not have seen that, but sorry. Sweet, it's in. Okay, so time's of the essence. Let me throw the rest of these things in real quick. We'll get them started. Put some bolts in the car right here. I'm just gonna run these up and make contact. We'll torque them in a second here. That in there. I realize, yes, I'm starting bolts with a tool. I know I'm doing that. I shouldn't be doing that, but I've been doing things I shouldn't be doing for a couple decades now. There we go. Okay, I fast forward. I have all of these bolts in. I'm just gonna give them a quick rundown, snug them up a little bit, and then we'll torque wrench them. I need to get that RTV to spread out and start making contact as soon as possible. So a little bit of surface pressure is what we need. What I don't want to do is have it loose and then have that sealant start to set up and then we torque it and start smashing already set up sealant. That's not the proper way. So this is time is of the essence type of deal here. We'll get a couple of them up front. Ones up front are all good. Oh, that one's loose. Oh, gravity. There we go. I like these pans when you start to tighten down the fasteners. They make this cool little creaky noise. Just all the metal pieces beginning to function in harmony. Something really cool about that. I like it. Okay, actual clicks commencing. I believe spec on this is 89 inch-pounds. Now there's an extensive set of instructions that come with this. That was a little loose. Viewable through a QR code when you buy the product. So even if you're an actual technician, a super technician, you still need to read the directions. Okay, so I think now we'll probably put this differential back. Oh, push that up. Got 2 nuts. There's 2 studs that hang down from this bracket right here that hold this side of the diff/axle in. Nick. 89 inch-pounds. Nice. Okay, let's go in a little close and start inspecting our work here. I believe if we look at the perimeter of this, and we're taking a look at the RTV that spilled its way out. I think we've got a real good seal. Yep. Okay, so all the lines are back. I just need to probably just hang this cross member here and fill the fluids up. Beautiful. Okay, let's get some light on the subject, and then we will fit our cross member back in position. So, the easiest way I think to do this is to kind of jam this in on one side and then use leverage to hinge it into the other side. I think it goes this way. Get in there. If I can get one bolt to line up, like right there, put it through in the back. There we go. And we'll hinge it up, and I can hammer it in with a mallet. Some up pressure. You don't want to go. Okay, new tactic. Put a jack stand in there to push up on it. Rolling. Got a pole jack right here. Yeah, that'll do it. Better. Lifting the truck. There it goes. We'll use the truck's own built-in gravity to help me out. A little bit more. Yeah, beautiful. It still needs to go this way some. It's a little off center. When I pried this out yesterday, it did like a bang pop. It was reluctant. There, that will do. Got it. Put a couple more bolts through. When I took this out, they came, the bolts go from the back to the front. Normally I don't like to do that. Idea being, if you have like a fastener that comes loose or whatever, if it's pointed backwards, then as your car is going forward, it's less inclined to fall out. But if it's pointed in like this way from the back to the front, and then the nut comes loose, it is more inclined to fall out. That's the idea. I don't know if that's like legit or relevant or not, but that's how my brain considers things. More. Seriously? What's his problem? It's too high up. Now it is not too high up. Woo-hoo. I just saw this. I have a Banks hat on, and I put it on this morning, and I was like, man, I'm gonna go to work and do a video with Banks parts, and someone's gonna be like, yeah, look at you shilling, putting on the hat and everything. I just happen to wear this hat. I actually have like a whole pile of these. I got them from Gale when I was out in California a couple years ago. Oh, fun fact, you guys remember the helicopter that crashed in Huntington Beach? The other, like last week or whatever, I was there. That's the episode that I ran a couple years back from the Banks facility. I was actually staying at that hotel that the helicopter crashed into. Aaron called me up when it happened. He's like, dude, we were just there, and he and I were hanging out at the party that night on that balcony, right where that helicopter went and crashed everywhere. So I felt that to be interesting, and it lets me know that the world truly is a small place. Anyway, let's make these things tight. 18 millimeters of wrench. Go the wrong way. Yep. Click. That was stupid. There we go. Click. Got it. Okay, so we're filling some fluids here. Coming up on the end of the operation. Transmission lines are back in. I put the skid panel business back on. There's our oil pan, heat sinks, and then there's also a ram air scoop here on the transmission pan for extra cooling, ram air cooling literally. So now we've just got transmission fluid being pumped up through the line into the fill hole in the side of the trans, because there are no dipsticks anymore. Once this thing reaches this level here, it'll start to run out. That's our full mark, but we have to check this with the thing hot and running. So I'm not going to put engine oil in this until tomorrow morning, because I would like this RTV to continue setting up. So at this point, all I can do is finish filling, and then we're going to be all done over here. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and close this video out right now. See you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. I do have one other item to install on this, and it's one of the Banks iDash gauge systems. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see the install and the performance and function of the Banks iDash. I could make a video about it. I usually don't, because folks don't really care for them, because they're not applicable to everyone's car. Well, they could be, but most people just aren't interested in that kind of information. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you want to see the Banks video. I might put it on the second channel. I haven't posted over there in a few months. That's Rain Man Ray Off Duty, if you guys are interested. There's a link to that channel down in this video's description as well. Anyway, that will conclude my channel promotion and the end of this video. Like I said, thank you guys one more time for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day. See you guys later. In a video, in a day. No pun intended. End of transmission.